This is the big show right here on Hot 103.
And of course, we told you guys we were going to have Teague. I'm sorry, we had Teague earlier. We also have in the studio with us Mr. Steve Pearce, former congressman.
Former congressman,
Steve Pearce, and running again.
Yes,
right?
That's correct.
So let's talk about what's been happening, of course, in healthcare reform. How do you feel about healthcare reform?
Well, we all say that healthcare needs reform. I just don't think the government needs to take it over. I don't think if the government could run a business, they ought to run the post office first. So let's let them try on something that doesn't affect us all. The idea that we would give people fines or send them to jail for not buying health insurance, that's not the America that I wanted. Just let us sort it out that there are reforms that we need to do.
Yeah.
Health savings accounts, portability, a lot of things that we can do. Tort reform has got to be in the package.
So this is actually something that you and Teague actually agree on.
I think
because he was against, he
voted against the government takeover.
Yeah, and you obviously disagreed with healthcare reform right now.
Yes.
And if you could help, I'm trying to get a 30-second review on healthcare reform for if it hasn't been possible yet. Help out us common folk here. 30 seconds of
what I would do.
Healthcare reform.
The things I would do. What's going on right now is they're saying that the government needs to run your health insurance. They call it a cooperative or the public plan. Whatever they call it is the government taking it over. Same thing they did with General Motors. I just don't think government can run. They could run your radio station here. In other words, that's
they're trying to.
Yeah, they're trying to. So that's in a nutshell. What we need to be doing, this bill was 2,000 pages long. What we need to be doing is passing 10-page bills so that we can see what's going on with small steps at a time.
I have said this,
yes, you have.
so that it's easier to understand in black and white.
Yeah, we don't have to do the whole thing in one big chunk. That confuses everyone.
I love that. Sorry, I've been saying that all along, and I'm so glad somebody finally agrees with me on that one. So let's talk about Veterans Day. It was yesterday. What did you do for Veterans Day?
Well, first of all, I am a veteran. I served in Vietnam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I flew up to Fort Sumner. Spoke to high school students up there. I had a meeting with veterans, but the fog was laying in Fort Sumner, so I circled above the fog during my veterans meeting.
Oh no!
Then I invited them to the high school, but I talked to our kids about, first of all, I was a senior the same as they were back in 1965, not thinking about Vietnam. When I got down here to New Mexico State, I won the draft lottery. Suddenly had to think about what I would do. Would I serve? And so I tried to get in their mind what they were going to do, because every generation has to find people who will do those hard, tedious tasks of defending our freedom. Also talked about going home and giving a hug to their uncle, their aunt, their father, their brother, sister, whoever served. A lot of them hadn't thought of that. So we had them raise their hands if they had a veteran in the family. Then the ones who didn't raise their hands, I said, okay, turn around and find somebody that's got their hand raised, and you go to their house and tell their relative thank you. Because when we say, oh, I don't have anybody in my family, we can kind of forget the sacrifices. So I tried to make it personal. Had a really great visit. I love visiting with our high school students. In fact, we do it all the way down to about the second grade. Students are always engaged.
Yes, and of course we always appreciate our military and their services that they provide to us here in the United States, obviously. I come from a military family, so it runs all down the line. I'm the only one that didn't.
Everyone in the family serves. I talk to moms and to wives, to husbands that stay at home. They're the ones that have to take care of the kids. So I always say, remember to say to those who stay at home, you serve too. When your loved one is in combat, you serve too. So thank you.
Yeah, well, also one of the things I wanted to talk about is, we have an election coming up.
We do.
What are your main concerns when you're running this time?
Jobs. We're dying for jobs.
Yes, we are.
I mean, that's it. Everything doesn't work well when our economy slows down. The cap and trade bill that passed out of the House of Representatives is absolutely destructive to our jobs, and it doesn't do anything to improve the environment. That's the problem. It's just going to be a tax that kills jobs. So let's figure out what we're doing wrong. Right now, our dollar is becoming weaker every day. We're spending too much in Washington. We're spending money we don't have. We're just like a family. When we spend more than we have, we're going to get foreclosed on if we're not very careful as a country. So get our spending down, decide the programs that are absolutely essential, decide the ones that are waste. I saw a program on YouTube night before last, $90 billion of your tax dollars going to fraud in Medicare. So selling them wheelchairs that they never give them. You know, this one guy was on TV and on YouTube saying, "Yeah, I sold about $400,000 worth a month." And he said, when they catch up to that company, I'll just shut it down and go over here and start another company.
That's so disturbing.
Yeah, it's disturbing. And he said, I'd put the same person with prosthetic arms, two arms, two legs, every other month, change companies, and nobody ever knew.
That's amazing.
He said there are 2,000 people just in Florida doing this kind of fraud.
Yeah.
You know, we could stop that. That's money that you could be spending here.
Exactly.
If we gave you your taxes back instead of letting them go to the waste. So that's what's happened. That's what's wrong with government, is that when they get into business things, they can't track it. The business goes broke if they can't work it.
Yeah.
The government can't broke. They just raise your taxes.
There you go.
And so always there's this great discussion. Should the government be doing it? Should it not be doing it? I generally think a smaller government, less spending is better. Let you decide. If you need a prosthetic, you can decide what one you need and go in, get it.
Well, you know, thank you so much for coming on the air with us. I just realized our time is already flying by there. But you know, it's really important that you came in for us this morning and talked with us. We really appreciate it.
Always love to do it.
What do you have going on today?
Well, we've got a series of meetings. We've got a luncheon today with Hispanic business leaders.
Okay.
We're reaching out into that community very well. Last night it was an event for veterans here in Las Cruces. Gave a little speech there. That worked out well. Got a lot of those World War II survivors in those yellow jackets. They had the parade yesterday. So we're just talking to voters all the time too. That's basically what we do for the next 12 months now.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
Appreciate
And
it.
thank you so much for coming in with us this morning. We're going to get right back into the music with Usher and Papers.